Hello and welcome to our millions of viewers here in Nigeria and all around the world. This is News Round, where we do a recap of stories that made headlines during this week. The headlines. Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers accuse management of Dangote refinery of breaching agreements reached between the refinery, the federal government, and all truck drivers who are members of the bank PTD. National Association of Resident Doctors commenced nationwide warning strike following an expiration of 24-hour deadline to federal government to meet its outstanding demands. Residents of Oworonshoki under Koshofe local government area here in Lagos accused the state government of betrayal after their houses were demolished. The government says no compensation for property owners. Thus, on the program, Israel carries out attack against Hamas leadership in the capital of Qatar. Qatari Prime Minister accuses Israel of reshaping the region by force. That's News Round in view. Let's get things started now. Around the world, we are live from our global headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. News Round starts with the federal government's intervention in the dispute between the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, and the Dangote Group over workers' rights to unionize. Labour Minister Mohammed Dingyadi, alongside the Minister of States, Nkiruka Onyejiocha, met with NUPENG, NLC and TUC leaders, as well as officials from the Dangote Group and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. And following a separate closed-door meeting on Tuesday at the DSS headquarters, attended by the Minister of Finance and representatives of both parties, NUPENG announced the suspension of his strike. In a joint statement, the union said the decision followed an agreement by the refinery's management to respect workers' right to union.
The representative of the Dangote refinery worked out on the Honorable Minister and organized labor. When we bent backward to accommodate his uncompromising behavior, he still did what he had to do. So we are left no option than to do the needful. It takes more than a party to reach a resolution. So whenever the representative of the Dangote petroleum refinery, when he sees the need for a meaningful dialogue, why not? We are ready. We are ready anytime, even this night. If he changes his mind and comes back, that is ready for discussion, we're here.
We cannot stand and see an investor whose main purpose is to come and enslave Nigerians. You cannot take us back to the dark days of slavery. Nigerians has wished him so well that to enslave them. So it's unfortunate that at this point in time, we're having an investor whose main purpose is to say there can't be union in his establishment. He wants to monopolize the entire system and even monopolize workers alongside with them. This we said no.
Well, earlier this week, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors commenced a 5-day nationwide warning strike over unmet welfare demands. The industrial action, which began on September 12, followed a 10-day deadline issued to the federal government and relevant agencies. In a statement after its emergency meeting, ARD accused the government of failing to pay the 2025 Medical Residency Training Fund, backlog of salary arrears from the Congress review, and the 2024 agreement allowance.
As early as 8 a.m. at the beginning of a new working week, resident doctors in the Federal Capital Territory commenced a 7-day warning strike. At the Asokoro District Hospital, the strike is received with mixed reactions from patients who had flocked in to seek medical care.
They didn't attend to me, and they are saying that they will go to this now. I said that they will go to strike almost a week. And see now, the week now, how many lives they will lose.
They say everybody should go, that they're on strike. We don't know the reason, so we have to go to our houses until when the strike is cut off.
Channels Television also visited the Maitama District Hospital but were denied access. This warning strike is the third this year, following the one-week ultimatum issued by the association on August 31, 2025, to deliberate on persistent and unresolved issues. The doctors are demanding the immediate payment of salary arrears, the immediate recruitment of doctors, payment of the 2025 Medical Residency Training Fund, the immediate release of timelines for promotion exercises, conducive working conditions, payment of outstanding hazard allowances, amongst others. At this press conference, the president of the association, Dr. George Ebong, gives an insight on their demands.
We are getting demoralized now. We can't continue to work in this pattern. If we continue to work in this pattern, none of us is going to be alive anymore. So we have to do the needful. And the needful is what we're doing this morning for 7 days. Let me start by saying that for a long time, we haven't had employment in FCTA since 2011. Those that retired have not been replaced. Those that have left the country, the Japa syndrome, have not been replaced. Those that died have not been replaced. We keep doing, one doctor does the job of 5 to 6 doctors.
He also painted a grim picture on the poor working condition in the FCT hospitals, stating that the FCT minister has been duly notified of their plight.
We have met everyone that knows him, even within the same political landscape. We've spoken to them. We've told them to help us talk to the minister because we feel that the minister alone can solve our problems. And we want to try as much as possible that this is sorted out.
Now, Channels Television has made efforts to speak to the management of this hospital, but that has not been possible. However, the resident doctors say the strike will go on uninterrupted, and if after 7 days their demands are not met, they will embark on an indefinite strike. From Abuja, Victoria Longjon, Channels Television News.
Back here in Lagos, tensions rose around the Koshofe local government area of the state as residents of Oworonshoki staged a protest on the 3rd mainland bridge over the demolition of structures in their community on Monday, causing a major gridlock across parts of the city for hours. After the demolition exercise, hundreds of displaced residents remain stranded, with many still searching for shelter and answers. The Lagos State government says the operation targeted illegal structures and shanties along the lagoon shoreline. Channel TV visited the area to assess the scale of the demolition and the toll on affected families.
An aerial view reveals the extent of a demolition enforcement in the Ujileru part of Oworonshoki in Koshofe local government area. Some of the affected residents, now homeless, are still milling around the debris of concrete and woods that once stood as home, wondering what lies ahead. Adirunke Adego has been taking shelter in a nearby uncompleted bungalow since she was displaced by the exercise.
I used my salary very well. I still have loans. I'm working with my local government, senior officer for that matter. Still where I'm sleeping, my things, I didn't, oh God.
The 56-year-old civil servant is apparently traumatized after witnessing the demolition of her home.
I went to Ikorodu to sell my only property there, 10 million naira, which I use. I finished everything, POP, tiles everywhere.
Mrs. Adego's condition, pictures for challenges others are facing following the exercise.
I don't have anywhere to go. That is my husband's graveyard. He said when he's dead, I should bury him on his land. So I don't have anywhere to go. They came to 12 a.m. in the night with masks on their faces, with tear gas, with full force of police. They don't even allow many of us to take anything out.
I have the video evidences of all of the buildings here. There is no substandard building here. I am jobless, homeless, everything less, and helpless at the same time.
Besides Sojileru, other parts of Oworonshoki are also affected. Video evidence reveals some houses are untouched amid the demolition along the shoreline of the lagoon. Public reactions to the latest demolition exercise has pitched the Lagos state government on the defense, justifying its action.
On one side, they don't have title to the land. On another side, they don't have approval. On another side, what they even built is threat to life because it's now a distressed building. So you have more than enough ground to remove them. In the first instance, it is illegal.
Supposing they go to court today and the court finds out that what the government has done is wrong, that the allegation of they not having document is not true, how do you remedy this level of damage that has been done?
All of this shouting is not just about compensation. It's about rebuilding our properties, our houses. We want our houses back as well as our land.
For now, the possibility of compensating or relocating the victims of the demolition appears not to be an option for both the Lagos state government and affected residents. But one question looms large. Can the Lagos state government balance environmental protection with the human rights to shelter?
To security matters, residents of Dar Jamal in Bama local government area of Borno State have been recounting their ordeal following the recent attack that claimed 63 lives in that community, expressing deep disappointment over the military's conduct that allowed the assaults to occur. The residents declared that they are now prepared to take their security into their own hands.
Dar Jamal, a border community 40 kilometers from Bama, along Banki Road borders with Cameroon and the Sambisa Forest in Borno State. The community was destroyed at the peak of the Boko Haram insurgency, leading to the displacement of inhabitants to IDP camps in Bama, Maiduguri, and other parts of the state. About 6 weeks ago, the administration of Professor Babagana Zulum resettled 3,000 IDPs into a 500 housing estate after a decade of living in camps in Bama in the first phase of the resettlement of the border community. After visiting the community to commiserate with the bereaved and community members, Governor Babagana Zulum returns again to assess the situation. The governor goes round the estate, inspecting the level of damage to the resettled community. Narrating their experiences, residents decry the activities of the troops located at the base in Dar Jamal.
It was after the prayer when we suddenly heard gunshots. The military asked us to be in our houses and not step out. We obeyed them, but the moment we locked ourselves in our rooms, the military ran away from their duty post and fled. They left us to our fate. They came in very large numbers on motorcycles, vehicles. We suddenly heard, "Allahu Akbar," then gunshots everywhere. We locked ourselves in the room. They came and met us. They said, "These are old men. Let them be." They burnt our houses.
The entourage of the governor to the border community includes members of the National and State Assembly, State Executive Council members, Civilian Joint Task Force volunteers, and the Combined Task Force Security Team. They urged the federal government to emulate the state government in strengthening security in the area.
We share our deep, profound grief with this community. Our deepest sympathies and prayers are all with those who lost their loved ones. And most importantly, I urge the federal government, the security operatives, to beef up, for them to come with a more decisive action to protect these people.
The executive governor of Borno said, start training forest guards. Over 240 forest guards were being trained to protect these people.
In the interim, the state has engaged young people in the community to serve as forest guards, in addition to reviewing of operational engagements of repentant insurgents and the civilian Joint Task Force volunteers who have been instrumental in the counter-insurgency operations in the state.
The retired Justice of the Court of Appeal, Justice Oladotu Adefope-Okoje, says Nigeria will only succeed if the judiciary upholds the tenets of professionalism, righteousness, and anti-corruption, as it is the soul of the nation. Justice Adefope-Okoje disclosed this at the launch of her book in the nation's capital, Abuja, on Thursday, where she also appreciated the impacts of some of the dignitaries in attendance, including former Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the 14th Emir of Kano, His Majesty Sanusi Lamido, former Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Amina Oge, among others.
This is the launch of the 4th edition of a book titled Civil Litigation, a quick reference guide to substantive law and procedure, written by retired Justice of the Court of Appeal, Justice Oladotu Adefope-Okoje.
The presence of the former president.
Dignitaries in attendance include former Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the 14th Emir of Kano, His Majesty Alhaji Sanusi Lamido, former Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Amina Oge, the Regent of Ijebu Land, Olorugun Soni Kuku, serving and retired judges, as well as the Archbishop of Kaduna Province. Some of the dignitaries speak on the impact of previous editions of the book.
It is absolutely important for us to keep a good record, not just of civil procedure, but more perhaps of the ways by which we can speed up our justice system, the ways by which we can improve the efficiency of our civil litigation outcomes.
So books like this, particularly in civil litigation, criminal, there's a lot more, and a lot more books on it. But civil litigation is an area that affects more people incidentally, and yet is not as what do you call it, broad-beaten as we would say.
Now I've gotten to a point where, with Justice Adefope's book, I actually go through the book, look for what I think is relevant, take pictures and send to my lawyers. I'm not a lawyer, but I just send to them and say, this is something you should look at.
All strata of justice in Nigeria have come here today to thank her for doing something to civil litigation where people can refer to.
Then, the author takes the podium, and she has strong words for the political class.
Dealing with primaries, absolutely no internal democracy from the parties, the hierarchy of the headship of the parties, no internal democracy. Somebody will win, you will substitute another person. Of course, they are going to go to court. This is a message also to the politicians. You have to help this country. You have to help this country. And then the judges themselves, he will not allow us to be tools in their hands because it is very attractive. Any judge that wants to be multi-billionaire, you can do it easily. You don't even have to ask for it, they are chasing you.
She also has an appeal to the judiciary.
I now want to plead with our judges that please let us elevate merit and justice over technicality. Please.
The book reviewer and the representative of the Speaker of the House of Representatives give more insight into the book.
The book's contribution is therefore twofold. First, it serves as a manual for the immediate demands of the practice and adjudication, while also acting as a monument that records and interprets the development of civil procedure in Nigeria.
The counsels that have been put in this book is for us to go into it and see the advice that a learned person like her has given to society to give back to Nigeria, look at the bills that are before us in National Assembly, and see how to fine-tune them so that it be updated and it be passed.
The consensus is that this book will significantly add to the body of knowledge for the judiciary. Daily Omoyeni, Channels Television News.
Now, the bail application made by 5 terrorism suspects linked to the Al-Shabaab terrorist organization was denied following the alleged attack on a Catholic church in Owo Town, Ondo State, which led to the death of over 40 worshippers. Justice Emeka Nwete of the Federal High Court in Abuja, who dismissed their bail application, held that the terrorism charges against them were capital in nature, as the suspects are accused of being members of a strong foreign terrorist organization who may intimidate witnesses, influence or jeopardize the trial of the defendants before the court.
The courtroom is filled as family members, friends and associates of 5 terrorism suspects thronged the Federal High Court for the hearing of the bail application filed by the defendants. The trial judge begins by upholding the argument of the Department of State Service that the offense allegedly committed by the defendant is a capital one, which may inspire them to jump bail if allowed to go home. The judge further upheld the submission of the security agency that the 5 accused persons did not establish that they have credible sureties that can stand for them pending their trial. He said that the argument of the DSS that admitting them to bail would amount to judicial risk was also not challenged by their lawyers. Justice Nwite also held that the defendants failed to give cogent and verifiable reasons for them to be allowed home pending their trial and subsequently dismissed the bail request. The judge equally declared the motion on notice by the defendants as incompetent on the grounds that the names of the 5 defendants were not listed on the motion paper as required by law. In granting accelerated trial as requested by the Department of State Service, Justice Emeka Nwite fixed October 16 for commencement of trial.
We are very happy that their bail application has been denied, and rightly so. We are happy with the judge for agreeing with our position that terrorists or terror suspects should not be allowed to roam our society. And the reason is because we have witnesses that we need to protect, as well as the fact that they may abscond if they are allowed to go out on bail. So we are very happy with what has happened today in court. Moving on from now, we are going to conduct this trial expeditiously, as the presidential directive was given to us by the DG of the DSS. He has informed us that this trial must be carried out expeditiously, and that is what we are going to do.
The 5 accused persons, Idris Abdul Malik Omeza, Al-Kazim Idris, Jamil Abdul Malik, Abdul Hakim Idris, and Momo Otuho Abubakar, with others still at large, are alleged to have on the 5th of June 2022 caused the death of 40 persons and grievous bodily harm to over 100 others at St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State. The suspects are accused of detonating improvised explosive devices within the church premises, an act that is punishable under Section 42, subsection A of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act of 2022.
And outside our shores, Qatari Prime Minister Mohammed Al Thani has accused Israel of acting with impunity at an emergency UN Security Council meeting in New York following a deadly strike in Doha. Prime Minister Al Thani added that the attacks were a blatant violation of the sovereignty of a state, stressing that Qatar had made strenuous efforts for a ceasefire and that the targeted building was known to host delegations involved in mediation talks. In the meantime, Israel's representative Dano hits back, putting the blame on Qatar's support for Hamas.
Terrorists. The time for Qatar to choose has come. For too long, Qatar has harbored terrorists, offering Hamas leaders sanctuary in luxury hotels while they orchestrate massacres and terror attacks. History will not be kind to accomplices. Either Qatar condemns Hamas, expels Hamas, and brings Hamas to justice, or Israel will. The world has faced moments like this before. Today, the world remembers the devastating terrorist attacks of September 11th. That tragic day, like October 7th for Israel, was a day of fire and blood. In the aftermath of 9/11, the countries that uphold freedom, equality, and democracy in this council stood shoulder to shoulder.
And our news round ends with the killing of a prominent conservative activist, Charlie Kirk, and his ally, who was fatally shot while speaking at Utah Valley University during a students' debate. The fatal shot was fired from a rooftop, and Charlie later died from his injuries. Well, that does it for us here on News Round. Thanks indeed for watching. I am Kelly Egiga. Bye now.